If you know TeckWrap color change film, you know how it stretches, how it responds to heat, and you know how to read the material. Yet, what you've been working with up until now is TeckWrap's PVC color change film. Now you switch to their new TeckWrap color paint protection film, and suddenly nothing works the way it should. The film performs differently. Stretching and trimming just don't seem right. Yeah, that's because you're fighting the film instead of flowing with it. And here's the thing. TPU is different than PVC, and most of the frustration comes from wrapping TPU like PVC vinyl when it needs a completely different approach. And this series, created by the Wrap Institute, covers TeckWrap's Color PPF, built for dry installation using their microgroove PET liner. We're breaking down 3 fundamentals: adhesive control, heat and memory management, and application technique. And once you understand how this material actually behaves, installation becomes predictable, repeatable, and a lot less stressful. So, whether you've wrapped hundreds of cars with TeckWrap's PVC version of color change film, or you're just making the switch to TPU, stick around. This series will help you install TeckWrap Color PPF like a pro. So let's start with the fundamentals that are important for you to think about regarding TeckWrap Color Paint Protection Film. And our first question, what actually makes TPU different from the PVC vinyl you're used to? It's not the thickness, as TeckWrap Color PVC and PPF are comparable in thickness. And it's not even the adhesive, as both feature air regress technology and a medium initial tack. It's the material itself, and how it responds to everything you do, from stretching, cutting, and forming. Watch this. TPU stretches without any heat input. The material is elastic and it reacts immediately to tension. You pull, it moves. If you let go, it shrinks back to its original shape at room temperature. PVC doesn't do that. Without heat, it just sits there, stiff and uncooperative. Heat it up, however, and now it stretches. If you let it go after it cools down, it doesn't shrink back, not like PPF. Yet if you hit PVC film with heat again, it will shrink back to where it started. That's the memory factor of PVC you're used to working with. Now here's another difference that is quite interesting. Put both materials under real stress by stretching them dramatically. TPU stretches significantly and holds. It doesn't tear. PVC, it stretches a little and then it fails dramatically. PPF provides much stronger protection for the vehicle, as it can absorb rock chips and much more. It's good to note that TeckWrap PVC and PPF films react differently to heat. Temperature changes everything with PVC. Warming it to around 60 degrees Celsius, and you can shape it, reheat it, and return it to its original shape by heating it again. Now, heating up to, or let's say around 110 degrees Celsius, the structure changes permanently. This is classic post-heating. The shape locks in. Go higher, let's say to 160 or 180 degrees Celsius, and PVC is done. The material burns. TPU handles temperatures on a wide range of levels, well, even above 200 degrees Celsius, without burning. But here's the catch. If you try to stretch TPU while it's still hot, it fails immediately. So what do these differences mean, and how you work with both types of TeckWrap color change films? Well, PVC is stretched and stabilized with heat. That's the whole system. TPU is not stretched with heat. This is the key. The only time heat should be used with TeckWrap Color Paint Protection Film is for relaxing, for activating adhesive once it's been installed, and for finishing edges to make sure there's a strong hold, but not for stretching. Different material, different rules. One aspect that is very important to make sure of is that the surface of the vehicle is extra smooth. Of course, it's important with TeckWrap PVC films as well, yet way more important with TeckWrap Color Paint Protection Film. The reasons are the thickness of the film and the high gloss finish. Color paint protection film is unforgiving. The thickness combined with the high gloss finish shows everything. Every dust particle, every bit of contamination you missed, as well as adhesive lines that occur during the install. More on that later. So your prep has to be better than what you're used to with PVC vinyl. Here's how to do it properly. Clean as normal. Then after this step, it's essential to clay bar across the entire vehicle. You'll feel the difference immediately. The paint goes from rough to glass smooth. Be extra thorough during this process and make sure it's done over the entire vehicle. Now fully degrease the vehicle. Use a high quality microfiber towel and use overlapping strokes. Pay extra attention to edges, corners, and tight gaps. These areas collect residue that can cause adhesion problems later. Use a microfiber towel wrapped around a squeegee to get into those tight spots. And that's it. With the right tools and protocol, this prep step shouldn't take longer than normal, and the final result in terms of quality will be quite visible. Now that you know how to properly prep the surface and the differences between TeckWrap Color PVC and paint protection film, let's now talk about what happens when the film meets the paint. Watch this. The TeckWrap Color Paint Protection Film, after the liner has been released, sits on the surface, but due to the adhesive technology, which gives it a low initial attack, it doesn't stick right away. This is actually a huge advantage as it provides a wide range of benefits. You can push air bubbles out, reposition it, take it back off the surface and reapply it. The film stays controllable. Now add heat, and you'll notice that the adhesive changes. That area you just heated, well, the adhesive is now grabbing significantly harder than the cold area next to it. Look at the adhesive side when it's cold. Touch it, nothing. It doesn't stick to your finger, stays stable. Heat it up, and now the adhesive is active. It sticks to your finger. The adhesive is awake. So it's very important to know that adhesion is built through pressure and temperature. The TeckWrap adhesive system gives you the ability to adapt at the start. You can correct mistakes, work out bubbles, get your positioning right. Then, with pressure and even heat, you can lock the film in when you're ready. That balance between low initial attack and controlled activation, that's what makes clean installations possible. Now let's talk about the thing that frustrates installers the most when they switch to TPU, glue lines. Glue lines are not a material defect, and they're not bad adhesive. They're the result of uneven tension that is created during the installation process due to a variety of factors from surface energy to install technique. Here's an example of how an adhesive line occurs. Take this small piece of film, and high tension and strong pressure are added. Short, aggressive squeegee strokes. See how the tension builds unevenly? And there is your glue line. This technique you just saw may work with PVC films, but it doesn't work with dry apply paint protection film. Every hard squeegee stroke on a stressed area can trigger an adhesive line. Concentrate high tension on a small spot, squeegee that spot, and you're basically asking for glue lines. The good news? You can 1, prevent this before it happens, and 2, if it does happen, with TPU, you can fix it if you use the following techniques. If you do get an adhesive line, no problem. Simply lift the film off the surface, let the film relax either at room temperature or by adding light heat so it can shrink back, then reapply the film with less tension, and you'll notice that this combination will reduce glue lines to almost zero. But here's a better approach. Don't create them in the first place. With larger areas, the film should be stretched across the surface with just enough tension to create glass, but no harder than this. Once glass has been achieved, lightly lay it down on the surface, then squeegee with even, medium pressure with long, calm strokes. The squeegee strokes should be efficient. Also, do not let the material bridge over any area, as once the material is stopped in the squeegeeing process, this can create an adhesive line. So work smoothly and focused the entire time. So with that, you can see this is the foundation for understanding the difference between TeckWrap Color PVC and Color Paint Protection Film, as well as tips on how to install TeckWrap Color Paint Protection Film smoothly. TPU is not vinyl. It stretches differently, reacts to heat differently, and has its own language that you need to learn. The adhesive gives you control at the start, then locks in when you add heat and pressure. And glue lines, they're a tension problem, not a material problem. In the next video, we will get deeper into installation technique, how to handle larger panels, control tension across a full hood, and what to do when bubbles and wrinkles appear. But the mindset stays the same. Appreciate the differences between PVC and PPF, adapt with an open mindset, and you'll have top quality results. Thanks for watching, and this has been a technical video on TeckWrap Color Paint Protection Film created by the Wrap Institute.